Hello there, and welcome to this episode of Happy Birthday Wellness Quiz. My name is Sibiri Obogo. I'm a medical doctor and specialist in public health medicine. Today I'm going to discuss how much fat I need to consume in my diet. Before I start, I'm going to share a short quiz for which I will give the answer at the end. The question is asking which is not a step for choosing lean proteins. So lean proteins are basically proteins that are low in the harmful saturated fats. So A, limit portions of protein to 6 to 8 ounces per day. 3 ounces is about a deck of cards. So 6 to 8 ounces is about 2 decks of cards. B, include hot dogs, ribs, sausage, and bacon in your diet. C, trim visible fat from meat and remove skin from poultry. Or D, choose the round and loin cuts of meat. So here is a case study that you're going to use to illustrate this point. Mustafa is a 54-year-old male who is recovering from a heart attack. His daily estimated total energy intake is about 1800 kilocalories. His doctor and nutritionist determined that to reduce his risk of a second heart attack, he needs to lose some weight and lower his blood cholesterol while following the TLC diet. So what is the maximum number of saturated fats in grams that he should be eating with his treatment? So a bit of recap before we come back to the case study. There are basically 4 types of dietary fats. We have the so-called trans fats, saturated fats, and unsaturated fats. So just remember, the trans fats and the saturated fats are usually the harmful ones. Trans fats are found in hydrogenated vegetable cooking oil, fast foods, things like cakes, pastries, and chocolate. They're basically made during the manufacturing process when liquid oil such as corn oil or sunflower oil is turned into solid. Vegetable oils are mostly saturated fats are divided into vegetable fats and animal fats. So vegetable fats saturated are mostly found in what you call the tropical cooking oils such as coconut, palm oil, as well as beverages and things like condensed milk. Now saturated fats are also found in animal sources of protein such as meat, poultry, fish, as well as dairy products like milk, yogurt, butter, ghee, or tallow. Now, unsaturated fats are the healthy ones, and they're usually divided into polyunsaturated and monounsaturated. Now, you've probably heard about omega-3, omega-6, and omega-9. So, polyunsaturated are divided into omega-3 and omega-6. So, omega-6 are things like corn oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil, whereas omega-6 are the fatty fish such as salmon, as well as some seeds and nuts. So monounsaturated are also called the omega-9 and includes things like olive oil, canola oil, peanut oil, sesame, avocado oil, and most nuts. So remember, these are also very healthy types of oils. So what you want to avoid is to avoid trans fats and limit saturated fats and replace saturated fats with unsaturated fatty acids in the diet. So back to our quiz. So the question is asking us the maximum number of saturated fats in grams that Mustafa needs to be eating if he's on an 1800 kilocalorie diet. So to calculate this, we need to calculate the American Heart Association recommends that we should not consume more than 7% of our daily calories from saturated fats. So that's the limit. So 7% of 1800 should come from saturated fats. That gives you 128 kilocalories of saturated fats. But the question is asking about grams, not kilocalories. So because 1 gram of fat is 9 calories, we divide 126 by 9 to get 14 grams of saturated fats. So the answer is A. So what does 14 grams of saturated fats looks like? It's equivalent to about 3 tablespoons of lard or 6 ounces of ground beef which is 70% lean and 30% fat. As I said, 6 ounces is equivalent to 2 decks of cards or 2 computer mouses. 14 grams is also equivalent to tablespoons of butter. So generally, when we talk about therapeutic lifestyle changes, this lifestyle nutrition diet or TLC diet is basically recommended for people with elevated cholesterol, or just anybody who wants to eat a healthy, balanced diet. As I mentioned, the first thing is saturated fats. It should be less than 7% of our total calories. Saturated fat should be about 10% of your calories, and then morning unsaturated up to 30% of your calories. So that gives you about 25 to 35% of your calories should come from fats. Carbohydrates should constitute of your calories about 50 to 60%. Here we talk about the healthy carbohydrates, things like whole grains, nuts, seeds, fruits and vegetables, as well as legumes. Fiber, you require at least 30 grams per day, and then protein should be about 20%, 15 to 20% of your total diet. Cholesterol should not exceed 200 milligrams per day. That's about 1 egg, assuming that you've been diagnosed with high cholesterol or you have a history of heart attack or diabetes. Of course, you need to also ensure that you lose weight and you engage in moderate intensity physical activity, about 150 minutes per week, 30 minutes per day. So back to our quiz. The quiz was asking which of the following is not a step for choosing leaner proteins. Now, hot dogs, ribs, sausage and bacon are examples of foods high in saturated fatty acids, and they are not considered lean proteins. The round and loin parts of beef are considered lean, but even when you're choosing lean portions, you need to limit your portions to a maximum of, as I mentioned, the size of 2 decks of cards per day, which is about 6 to 8 ounces in a day. Trimming visible fat and removing poultry skin are also ways of lowering your intake of saturated fats. So thank you much for listening. This vlog was brought to you by Kike Afya. My name is Billy Obogo. I'm a medical doctor and specialist in public health medicine. You can support us by subscribing to the YouTube channel, the link of which I will include below. Until next time, bye bye.